Welcome to my reading. This is a reading for Leo for the month of May 2020. For those that are new to my channel, I'll just give you a quick rundown of how I do my layouts. I've tried to shorten it just a little bit here just because I'm finding I'm having some difficulty getting things out. But regardless, this is for career and finance. Sometimes there are some relationship issues that may come into the reading because I find with money we always have some element of intertwined with our relationships, whether it's business, personal. Money always seems to overlap in a lot of different areas. So I might touch on those, but I won't necessarily get into a lot of depth there. But as far as the rest of the reading, as I say, career and finance is where my focus is. The cards that I've pulled here, again, these are the main cards above. Anything below that is really just a clarifier of energy. So just because I felt I needed a little more specific detail just to draw out a little more clarity on what the reading was about. I have pulled 3 other cards on the far side here. I know it's not all visible, but these are your cards. I've got the 4 of Ariel, 8 of Michael, and then I've also got the 8 of Raphael. Those are more along the lines of general energy cards for the month of May. And I've also pulled another card, which would be part of my fortune reading cards, and that would be the Thorns card. So that's a general reading card as well. So the others are more specific with the Rider-Waite deck, which are in the center here. And these are the ones that I'll be reading for career and finance. More specifically. Okay, so just to start out, I do see that you do have some definite happiness coming through. I see some independence by the end of May. You definitely have some positive energies here, but it does start out a little bit rocky for the month of May. I do feel that you are quite introspective. You are in some period of solitude. There's a lot of anxiety that's coming through initially. You do actually have a lot of cards of setting yourself free and ending of old cycles and beginnings of new cycles. There's some kind of judgment that's coming through as well, through some kind of a corporation or some kind of legal entity or government, something along that line, something that is systematized to you, that has made some kind of a decision in your favor, actually, and that you're quite happy about. So anyway, just to get into, flesh it out a little bit more. So again, the start of the reading is with the 7 of Cups as well as the Hermit. So that as the clarifier. So, and followed by that, of course, is the Devil energy and to be strong with the Strength card. So I do feel that, as I say, with the 7 of Cups, you've got a lot of things on your mind right now. When you start out for the month of May, I feel that April may have been a bit of a challenging time for you because there's a lot of cards throughout this reading sort of speckled through, with the 8s and the 6s about creating that balance and walking away from problems and difficulties and ending of cycles with the World card and the 10 of Swords. And there's also, toward the end here, and I know it's not all visible, but again, it definitely ends on a very positive note because you've got all the happiness cards and money. So again, 10s are all about those areas where we're beginning and ending. And, 9 of Cups is about happiness, and 9s, again, about action itself. But 9 of Pentacles represents, some kind of monetary reward or gain, and certainly that you're moving ahead. So independently. So there is some judgment coming through as well in terms of some kind of contractual relationship and a give and take situation here with reciprocity. But okay, sorry, I do digress. But going back to the very first cards, again, we're talking about the 7 of Cups. So 7 of Cups is more along the lines of our emotional state and where we're at. We're sitting in that place of, at the beginning of May, feeling a little bit powerless, or at least that there's some kind of deep confusion or lack of understanding, something going on that's leaving us to feel unstable. There is maybe some kind of a lot of decisions to make, and which is kind of maybe causing some paralysis there, where you're not able to go ahead and make a decision right off the cuff. It can also speak to a lot of temptations, and I say temptations because it's so very closely connected to the Devil card here. And so if that is the case, because normally with the 7 of Cups, it can also speak to that sense of disorganization. But again, it's very closely related to the devil card, which speaks to kind of those overindulgences, maybe over drinking or overeating or over analyzing, or a lot of heavy thought, a lot of negativity in your mind, or overindulgence in some way or shape or form. So again, I mean, it could be related to the mind, or it could be in your external world, where you're overeating, or there's some kind of heavy manipulation or something going on, something that's out of control there, or an obsession of some sort. But again, it is a Capricorn energy with the devil, and it is about, normally you want to detox yourself away from things of that nature, those heavy negative energies. But it's you going too far in some direction here, to the extreme. And the card is letting you know that you need to remain strong and centered, and get back to, a core and a foundation, to be able to move past this. That's the clarifier. So, but again, I'll zip back to the Seven of Cups there, initially starting with the Hermit. So the Seven of Cups, I feel, is, with all those choices, has led you to feel like you're frozen, that you're just a little too stymied to move forward. You don't know which direction to go. Your energy is kind of splayed all over the place. And so it is also, represented by the divine coming through here to guide you through this, because you're going introspective here. You're going into, you're thinking long and hard before you go ahead to commit to something. You're doing a little bit of withdrawal and recovery here. So there is some kind of soul searching, that's needed before you can go ahead. So, whatever may have transpired in the month of April, there's a lot of lessons that may have been learned here, but you're now moving into a place where you're able to pull back, and sort of break away from whatever those overwhelming thoughts or situations were, and construct a path forward. So here, as I say, with the Hermit, I feel that you're starting to, see a little bit of light, to be able to move ahead past this devil energy. And again, the devil energy could just represent a mindset, of any of those extremes that I'd mentioned before, even limited perception or overly negative thinking, anything along that line. But just either way, some kind of drama. Sorry, that was an outdoor noise. Don't know what that was, if you heard that. So anyway, with the devil energy, again, it is speaking to you following along a path where you need to be strong and you need to stand in your own power to get past it. I feel that maybe you were feeling like you were out of control and things were out of whack, to the degree that you weren't able to grasp onto any foundation or any structure, something that, would help pull you through. So I think with the Strength card, after this period of, going inward, you're able to find, go in and use your inner strength to get past and heal and stand up for yourself to whatever the situation was that was perplexing you. So I do feel you're dealing with a lot of issues here, whatever it was for April, that it's kind of carried over into May. But again, just being strong to be able to get past that, because you're relying on sort of your, mastering any raw emotions and finding a way to calm yourself. And sometimes just stepping away, letting things process with the Hermit is the best way to do that. Just, creating a little bit of a distraction for yourself, to pull away from the problem, to look at it objectively before moving forward. But you're regaining control over your life again, is what's happening there. So there is the Knight of Cups coming through as well. And the Knight of Cups really speaks to, again, sort of, it can represent a person, or it can represent just a news coming through, on that front. I did clarify it with the Ace of Swords, and swords, of course, are about clarity of mind as well. So I feel with that card, that's really where it's headed. I feel with the Knight of Cups that, and because it's facing into a forward-moving position, I feel that the Knight of Cups is about you getting back on task. You've got a clearer mindset with the Ace of Swords, and you're figuring things out. There's communication starting here. You know, you're able to express yourself, you're facing up to whatever those new challenges are, you're believing in yourself more, and you're starting to take action. You may have some new ideas that are coming through, but either way, you're eager to learn, and there's a new start here, you know, where you're just opening up all around. And it is a card of honesty and justice as well. So I feel that justice is a part of this reading, especially toward the end of the month. There's a lot more clarity on that front, and there's some kind of decision as well. I feel that's being made that might be related to some kind of government agency, or related to some kind of structure or system, or you know, something that represents stability to you. And that you're on that right path anyway, as well, with the Queen, or sorry, yeah, with the it's a Libra Virgo energy here with the Queen of Swords, but also again with back to the Ace of Swords. You know, that message or that news that's coming through is that you are starting to find clarity of mind. You know, you are starting to make the right decisions. You are starting to kind of execute your ideas now, and you're on some kind of a path. You're finding some resilience because you are relying on some strength. Okay, moving on, it is into the next card, which is the Knight of Wands. Wands are all about energy, faster moving energy, and again, I feel this is the Knight of Wands is about, well, what I'd say is, because there's also two knights in this reading that I've you know, and they're side by side. I feel that's fairly noteworthy. I think that it could also indicate that you're running into people, you know, old friends, or people that you haven't seen for some time. But again, with the Knight of Wands, this is also facing, you know, to the past, and it's clarified by the Two of Pentacles. So I feel that it is news that's coming through that, you know, where you were once hanging on to money very tightly, or feeling like you needed to control, sorry, that's the Four of Pentacles, control a situation, I feel that you're able to let your guard down on that, and not hang on or cling so tightly. I feel that something has opened up, some kind of a doorway has allowed you to let go of that cycle, and you are in the Queen of Pentacles mode here. So again, it's not gender specific, it's just the general energy of the card. So again, with the Four of Pentacles, I mean, it could speak to, you know, inheritance and those kinds of things as well, but I don't see any other cards that really surround that with heavy pentacles. So I don't necessarily feel that's really where we're going with this. I feel it actually does have more to do with your sense of security. You're more clear-minded about where you're headed, the direction you're headed, and that this is a part of that past. So it's sort of residual energy carrying over into May, but I feel that you are letting go of that over control and that feeling that you need to hang on tightly to your security, and that you're over worrying basically and closing things off, feeling very guarded and protected. But again, I feel that's something you're coming out of, because I mean the knight is facing into the past, whereas the other knight with the clarity of mind is moving forward into that future position. So again, you know, you're moving away from that possessiveness feeling, and you're moving into a place where you've got the Queen of Pentacles. And of course, the Queen is somebody who cares about, you know, her clan, her group, and she's very home loving, or he is very home loving and a resourceful person. So somebody who's really nurturing, you know, somebody who's very practical and resourceful and creative, that kind of thing comes through with the Queen of Pentacles. And that I feel that there is an end to, you know, that old cycle, and letting go, releasing, you know, because you're now moving into a place where you are cleared. There's more clarity in your mind with the Queen of Swords. So with this energy here too, with the Queen of Pentacles, still it's a Capricorn energy. Could be somebody that's coming through with that same, you know, energy again of loyal, resourceful person, and maybe you had to be that for the month of April, but I feel that you're coming out of that for the month of May, where you don't have to feel as spread out. You know, there's also another card here with the World. You know, you've got clarity of mind here, several times kind of noted throughout the reading, and with the World, it's sort of it's that end of that old cycle. and you're able to move ahead to this happier place with the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands again is, wands is a faster energy, but I feel in this case it's related to your security. So you are able to manifest that level of security in the month of May. It's a new pathway, it's a new gateway. It's blessings that are starting to come in. Things are starting to go your way now. So you are starting to see some kind of financial leveling out, or rewards are starting to come in for you, because it definitely ends on that note. You definitely have money that's coming through, and I feel there's some kind of a decision around that money that's coming through to you. But it is about, achievement of something here with the Four of Wands. So again, with the Queen of Swords, I just feel that you are getting a lot more balanced here. With the Queens, and I feel that it could even speak to an entrepreneurial energy if it's you that's coming through in this reading. It's somebody that it's dealing with legal entities, or somebody who's entrepreneurial, or somebody who's strong-willed, able to make decisions, quick decisions, solving problems, that kind of thing. But I feel it's less about that and more about the situation. So again, I feel that you're relying on your intuition quite a bit here, because it is a secret weapon of the Queen of Swords here, and you're relying on your intuition to move you ahead into this place where you are more at a point of power here. You've manifested this level of stability now. Okay, so moving on past that, you are into the we've got the Eight of Cups coming in. So the Eight of Cups is about moving away from any situations that were causing you some issues. So again, cups relate to our emotions and how we feel about things. And I feel that with the Eight of Cups, you are able to just change direction, where you might have been overly cautious. You're actually able to let go of that. You might be still feeling, again, some of that residual for part of May, but it is a time of transition. So you're now starting to move in a different direction. You're accepting that change is beneficial. So whatever you had to deal with, again, in the month of April, this card is letting you know that there's some changes that are coming up ahead here. And again, as well, with the Six of Swords, it's the same energy that's coming through. You're going away from difficulties and harsh words or anything that might have had you feeling as though you were stymied in some way. So you're moving toward calmer waters, basically. So the month of May is definitely bringing in some good news. Definitely more so toward the end, the latter part of May. But I mean, you're finding solutions basically with that Six of Swords card. So it's just a new voyage. You're taking on new perspectives here toward probably about the middle, I would say, middle to end of May. You've got some new shifts in your perspective, and you're just leaving the old behind, and you're able to move in a new direction here. So, I mean, it could speak to relocation, but I don't know that, I don't see a lot of other cards necessarily that support a move. I just feel that you are moving away from difficulty. And it could even be related to a job situation, because it is followed by, the Page of Pentacles as well as the Page of Swords. And with pages, again, they're messengers coming through, but the Page of Pentacles is about, starting with that strong commitment to get back to work again. It can be about paying off debts, loans, applications, investments, any of that kind of thing, as well as starting on a new course for study or a new job, learning a new skill of some sort. But either way, it's about fresh starts and new beginnings, and, you're being better, you're more practical with money. There's some opportunity now, that started up ahead here with that, or toward the end of May anyway. But things are definitely going in your favor here. So you're starting to manifest, get the motivation back to start, creating the things that you want back in your life here. If it is speaking to an energy of a person, it would be an Aries, Taurus, Gemini. And again, it's still related to somebody who is, reliable and practical and just gets the wheels in motion and takes a realistic approach. But if it's not a person, you can apply that to yourself in that, you're moving ahead, you're not giving up, you are, developing some kind of, moving ahead with some kind of ambition anyway, and you're growing. But again, it's also, physically and financially being responsible for yourself. So moving on to the clarifier is actually the Page of Swords. So again, there's 2 pages in this reading, which indicates that there was some kind of lack of structure. There wasn't enough planning that maybe went into something, or that you were running away from commitment. There could have been some kind of immature, thought patterns going on here. But with the Page of Swords, this is you really not necessarily trusting others, but you are able to stand up for yourself. So there's some kind of spirit of learning here as well. And again, great that it's emphasized there. But you're basically ready for action with the 9s, which I believe fell ahead further here. Yeah, toward the end. So again, this is also supporting that with the Page of Swords. That you're ready for action, and even though there might have been some delays or some difficulty with finances, you're learning to stand up for yourself. You're fighting for any injustices, and and any contest of wills or whatever it was that was a part of this, you're progressing through anyway. So there is some news that's coming through with that. And you're just being able to push through boundaries and be more decisive. With the Six of Pentacles, is again, it's a card of reciprocity. It's also about beneficial things coming through for you on the financial front. So either somebody's coming through to help you, or you're helping someone else, that you have the abundance. I don't feel it's necessarily that yet. I feel that you're gaining something. So I could be in terms of a bonus or a raise, or that you've just regained your secure position now, with being stable again. But there is something here that allows you to believe that you are now, you've gained something that's given you more than you had expected to get with this Six of Pentacles. So again, it's a promising opportunity, that's come through here, and there is something that's coming with it in terms of finances that helps you to feel more secure. So it may not be a huge abundance right away, but it is coming, because there is judgment that's coming through with the Lovers clarified. So, again, judgment is that message that, you're being divinely led for sure. And it also speaks to you transforming. And of course, there's lots of cards here that indicate you've been transforming all throughout, with the Ten of Swords, and, and walking away from problems here with the 8s and the 6s, trying to find balance. You've gone inward. You had to be strong. You've got clarity of mind. You were hanging on to, your stability here, probably through the month of April, and still a little bit into May, but you're losing that sense of over control. And again, beginning and ending of cycles with the World card, and finding safer structures again, new how do I say? I don't want to say things to cling on to, but you're finding that foundation again. And then the Judgment again is about that transformation. You know your purpose. You're awakening here to what needs to be done, and you've kind of you've gone through all the checkpoints basically. So it's about kind of that rebirth, just a reawakening here. And it's clarified with the Lovers. So again, Lovers doesn't always represent lovers in the sense of a coupleship in that way, on a personal level, but I mean, it could also represent, again, sort of a successful completion of something, or it could be a relationship that is related to work, or a successful judgment that's coming through in terms of a relationship, maybe a business relationship, or again, but either way, it's you being intuitively led here with this card, but it's also a sense of completeness. So, there's transformation, and there's a sense that you have completed some cycle, and that you're able to make better choices and find harmony and happiness in those choices. And for sure, you're on the right path, because it is followed by, the Libra Virgo energy with, and then also clarified with the Hierophant. So definitely it feels like there's some kind of decision again, as I mentioned before, that's come through toward the end of the month. You should be hearing something here. I mean, the Hierophant can also speak to higher learning or anything around that, or just conforming to some kind of discipline or a new job situation where you're part of a larger corporation or a group. Maybe you're hearing about a new job. The old cycle is complete and you're now moving into something new here toward the end of the month. But again, I mean, you're on the right path either way. You're grounding yourself here with this card. So there is some kind of inner solution that you've been able to find that purpose-driven life. It's a deep trust now, again, in moving forward. So again, you found your structure here again. And with again, that Libra Virgo energy, it could represent a person or yourself. Sorry, not yourself in terms of you're the Leo, but I meant in terms of the characteristics are not specific to Libra or Virgo, but it just basically means that, it could be somebody who is, very guided by legal matters. So again, I still feels like a legal decision that's coming through here because it is so closely tied to, the large corporation and legal entity, with the Justice card. So I would say that some kind of decision has been made and you're just cutting through, the situation to get to the resolve, and that there is some kind of, it could even relate to a marriage, or maybe something around a marriage, if something has been decided, just because it could be taken that other way as well. But either way, something has been settled. Something has been resolved. And by the end of the month, and either way, whatever that decision was, has made you extremely happy with the Nine of Cups and the Ten of Cups. There's a progression there. So definitely you're emotionally happy and feeling very independent. You feel like you have conquered something for sure. So again, the Nine of Cups is about, it's about dreams coming true and that kind of thing. But I don't know that this is necessarily a dream so much as it is something that you felt you needed to have for your own peace of mind happen. But it is about family happiness, and it is. So maybe there was some kind of issue that was surrounding marriage, and and you were able to resolve that, and maybe it related to a business. But either way, there's something that's come through that is allowing you to feel emotional satisfaction. So again, to count your blessings, and for sure it's a positive sign all around. The 9, the 10, it's safety, it's success, it's that wish fulfillment, it's cooperation with others. It's just positive energy and balance restored all around. With the Nine of Pentacles, again, it's about you feeling, you're feeling independent again, like you can move ahead successfully, and there's no more fear. So maybe some kind of money has come through here toward the end of the month that was contingent on this decision process from a legal standpoint, or for some large corporation or some legal, some legal entity. But either way, there's accomplishment and security, and there's some kind of profit, some kind of monies that are starting to come through, and with the end of May. So anyway, just to let you know, you have a lot to look forward to toward the end of May. You are still kind of with some shadowy aspects to deal with in the beginning, but you definitely are overcoming them. There's some kind of end of an old cycle. You are definitely coming through. Might even be, as I say, some kind of a new job or something that's coming ahead as well. But either way, there's a decision at the end of the month that has made you feel ecstatic and is giving you some sense of regained sense of security again. Okay, so moving on to the other cards. I just have 4 more short cards to read. This is the Fortune card, and it's Thorns. Weathering the challenges ahead will bring in a new and positive future. So with that card, it's just basically that, you've been able to get through a lot of these challenges, and, you've probably discovered, who your loyal allies are in doing so, who you need to let go of or set some boundaries around, wherever there was some kind of chaos, that tested your strength. And I do feel that that was the case. You were able to weather through that. There might have been some kind of personal suffering or letdown or an emotional crisis of some sort that might have challenged your personal relationships. But either way, it's been saved. You've cleared the air. There's some kind of harmony, to this whole picture with that card. And, the point is to avoid arguments with that card. You want to be able to stay in a place of power and not to not because you want to feel stronger and fall into that newer you. You've just released a whole bunch of old patterns, so you don't want to rebuild on the wrong foundation. So rebuilding and enjoying a more positive outlook, and you've got some fresh new projects to look forward to with this card. So again, it's all reiterated again with the other cards following that, with the Four of Ariel. When you give, you also receive, and you're being resistant to change, extremes in how you save or spend money. So again, that was, I feel, a part of kind of a residual energy there. I felt that you were hanging on, clinging very tightly to where you needed to be, and maybe weren't as sharing or as and that sharing can be not just financially, but also, of ourselves emotionally, that kind of thing, and blocking ourselves off from other people. But it is letting you know that you are being blessed with great resources. And so it's just a reminder to, not to be careless with money or anything like that. Just, review how you spend the money right now. But it is at the end of the month, you're going to feel like another doorway has just opened up for you. So it isn't, again, just about money and finances. It's about our energy and our emotions. So if you've got fear-based thoughts limiting your actions, then you have to be willing to take a look at your control issues, save for the rainy day, and not to resist change. Change can be a good thing. It can really open up our doors. So whatever you were trying to let go of needed to be let go of, or restructured. So we've got Eight of Michael. You can be free, make a courageous choice to change your situation. You're not seeing things clearly. So I think at some point there you have shifted that, because you were walking away with the Eight of Cups and the Six of Swords toward the end of May. This is a card that's letting you know that you may have been feeling trapped in your situation, and, but it was an illusion. And so really you just needed to look for the opportunities in things. Just as a way to free yourself. You were just lacking confidence and courage, and that's what the beginning of the month is telling you that you needed to rely on to be able to get past it. So for sure that card reiterates the same, committing to your changing circumstances, and just believe in your ability to move forward. It's just a lack of confidence, that gives you the idea that you are without power, and you're not really seeing things clearly when you take that mindset. Act as if, as they say, if you constantly second guess yourself, you create boundaries around yourself, so you limit your own successes. So it's a card of self-sabotage, but again, it's a self-imposed exile, as they say. So we've got the Eight of Raphael now, and again, with so many eights in the reading, it definitely is letting you know that you're getting past, a lot of hurdles. But again, like with eights, it's overcoming those restrictions and using your energy more efficiently. You're overcoming obstacles, and it's important to note, I just want to see how many cards that we had that were the eight. Okay, so it looks like there were 3 eights, 3 eights that were pretty relevant here. So, I mean, either way, you've triumphed over something, and you have regained that balance. But I also feel that, with several eights like that, it can also mean there was some kind of drive and maybe even perfectionism. But either way, you're taking stock of where you are, and you're moving ahead with a plan is what's going on there with all those eights. Okay, so moving on past that, we are talking about the Eight of Raphael. So, as the card states, Eight of Raphael is, there is something better waiting for you. Do what you know is right for you, a spiritual quest. So, again, this is the card of letting you know that there is much more to life. You have done some kind of inward search, which you did at the beginning of the month, and it's time to leave the past behind and embrace this brand new you. The choice is not being forced upon you. It's something that you're choosing. So, you have moved past the Eight of Michael, which is the Eight of Swords basically in the Rider-Waite tarot deck. But your past experiences help to build you. They helped you to understand who you are, and just to be grateful is what you need to be, is grateful for what you have learned, and so that you can build on it. There may be a relocation or a job in your job or relationship of some sort. So again, maybe it does speak to that relocation of a new job, relocation being a new job, because you did have that new learning that was coming through here. And again, there was another card that spoke to relocate, possible relocation. So again, it could be a new job that's on the horizon here. But again, it's just knowing what's right for you. And even though you held other interests, we oftentimes change our interests based on, the new person that we are becoming, because who we were then brought us to that level of success, and able to move on to the next version of yourself. You have to become someone else if you want to become more successful, or more loving, or more, compassionate, or, more whatever it is for you. But if you're just going to do the same old thing, you stay in the same place. And then oftentimes the divine will come in, the spirit will come in and change something in a really dramatic way, because you weren't allowing yourself to grow. So embracing change, accept the change, embrace the change, and see the possibilities instead of the obstacles see the opportunities that are available for you. So anyway, hope that gave you a little insight into May for 2020. And that again is the career and finance reading for Leo until June.